What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Karla.
And I'm Amanda. We are two sisters, two moms, tackling one book at a time.
Oh my goodness, we are done with Obsidian. I can't believe it. It felt like it went a lot quicker than I
Heck.
expected,
Oh my gosh,
right?
it went by so fast. So fast.
It's
It was a fun book.
crazy. Oh, yeah. No, we have a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss. Sorry, guys, I am still in the process of moving. So, if you're watching on video, I'm sure you see a little bit of a different setup for me, but nevertheless, we had to get this episode in. So we are making it work. I want to hear all about your thoughts. I mean, now that the book is over, we're on the same spot. So all the questions that you have are probably questions I have. And I'm excited to kind of talk about it because every time I'm going to answer or ask you a question, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm wondering that too, because now I don't know anything else that's happening until we read book two. So,
My gosh.
yeah, tell me your thoughts. What did you think?
Okay, so this book was good from the beginning. The last chapter was, I feel like if I had the second book, it would be game over. I would probably binge the second book by now. But wow, that was a lot for those two chapters. I'm glad we did split it up a little bit. Oh my gosh. One, I was right. Daisy was more than just a Chester. It did bring a lot out. And when I was reading it, I looked down and I was like, oh, 90%. We can get a lot done in 90%. And it felt like a blink of an eye where it was all like the last sentence. And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Is my Kindle broken right now? Like this, she cannot end like this. But she did. She did. And she did put in there Sin of Chocolate book because she's like, if you want to know what happened before or whatever, read this book. And I'm
Mhm.
like, in my mind, it was all like, did his parents eat chocolate and that's why he's like so bad or something? Like, what are those chocolates like back in the day? The Ferreros, they're like chocolates from the god. It was so good. Do you remember that commercial? And the chocolate ball
I
like
do
fell
not.
down. You don't? Oh my gosh. Okay. So scratch that then. But that's what I thought of. I was like, the parents did something with chocolate. Like, I don't know. But I got super
So
excited for these two chapters.
the Sin and Chocolate book is part of the Demigods of San Francisco. So that's going to lead more into Tarian and Lexi. So it'll give you a little bit more of a backside story into that. And then Daisy, from what I understand, is kind of like that side character, but you get a little bit more of her in there. So yeah, I know I have that book. I have to read it, but I wanted us to do this first. I know that sounds absolutely
Yeah.
crazy because it's like, don't you want to know more about Daisy before? And I'm like, I do. It's you know,
I
I was
feel
so
like
excited to read this book with you.
it's such an open universe. Like I feel like Marvel, you could watch no matter what movie in order and you'll still get the hint, probably the same way as she made it. You don't have to read them in the exact order. But I just got super excited because I'm pretty sure if you read all her books, it's going to be like one big movie or like crossovers and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I did like how she put all that together. But
Hmm.
that was my side vent. I'm super excited. This was a very fun book. I'm glad we did it for a podcast. And yeah.
Hmm. I know. And wasn't I right when I told you that you were going to want to read book two at like the way they ended it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Cause I was thinking, I was like, oh, there's no way I could probably wait. But that last sentence got me. I was like, are you kidding me? She just talk about a
I
cliffhanger.
know.
I want to know more. I really thought we would be able to make it to at least the Obsidian Court so I could see it. And we didn't. So I was just like, are you kidding me right now? We went through all this for it to end.
It ended the book, but it's like a whole new start for book two because really, I mean, we're now at the starting point of what's going to be happening moving forward. Yeah, I guess a quick recap of what we learned last episode was basically we had Daisy, who was pretty much, she felt betrayed by Tarian. She met his 10 fallen. Well, actually, she only met 6 of his fallen, but she knows about 10 of the fallen. And she got a little bit dehydrated on the way back. And that was kind of where we ended it. So we see Daisy waking up and she's still a little bit kind of all over the place. She feels a little better, but what did she sense, Amanda? What did she start sensing that was coming?
More souls?
Well, she did sense the souls, but she knew the dark rend was coming. She felt the dark rend
Yes.
coming.
That
Yeah.
thing was intense. Now I totally
Hmm.
understand why it was after her. And oh my gosh, okay. I won't jump ahead. So let's keep me on track. Because now I want to just skip the whole chapter and just go ahead.
Don't worry, we'll get there because that I feel like is going to be majority of our conversation is like the last chapter of the book. But what we've learned is that the dark rend has come, and really this dark rend is essentially kind of after Daisy. We see that Daisy goes back. She warns Tarian and his people that he's with in this hut, and they escape down into like a what is it, like a secret passage that goes below. Almost the way I interpret it is they go under the ground and go through tunnels to try to make it back to a different hut. They make it over there, and we learn that Tarian can't put the wards up until basically everything is shielded, right? Like, so the door needs to be closed. They need to be up into the room with the trap door closed. Like, they need to be locked into this room, almost like have no way to exit it. That's the only way to like protect it with the wards. So I was definitely a little bit nervous for them. I was like, don't be careful, be careful. You know what I mean? But ultimately, he puts up the wards, and we see one little nugget before we get into some of the other stuff that we're going to talk about. But we do see that the wards weren't really strong enough to hold the dark run back. And Daisy's like, I thought the wards were supposed to hold him back. And so Tarian tells her, I can boost it, but I'm going to need the chalice. So Daisy's holding the chalice, and she feels the pulsing energy going from him into her and then out into him again. So he's able to boost the wards with the additional power. I mean, now that you know, obviously, the ending of the story and you know about Daisy, does that scene kind of change like your opinions on anything, or change the way you view that specific scene?
Uh, the way no, I really like that scene. I mean, before we even got into that, we did see because previous in the previous chapters ahead, when she was first attacked by that thing, he even said like warriors they freeze in fear and all that stuff. And we do see his men kind of freezing in fear, but not her. Like she pushed through and she's the one who actually creeped up and went to go shut the door and everything. And I did really just enjoy it how I don't know, they work so well together. It's like one of those things where it's like she hates him, but she's not questioning him in like a serious situation. Cause if it was me, I would have been like, why do you need the chalice? You're like one of the most powerful things, you jerk. Like, put the wards up. You said once they're up, we'll be safe. And clearly we're not. Like I would have like probably gotten us killed at that point. So no, I liked it. And then the fact that I found everything else, I don't know. I just knew she was special from the beginning. So it was very nice to find out how special she was. Can I say
Mm-hmm.
it? I want to say it so bad.
We're almost there. Don't worry. But before we get into that, we do see, Tarian and Daisy sort of, getting it on, which,
They don't. They still don't. It's so frustrating. I'm like, this is
I
the
know.
slowest slow burn I've ever read, which I really appreciate it because it does keep you anticipated for the next one. But I'm very curious now on what he like doesn't want to take from her, which it's like,
Yeah.
what?
I have a theory on that, and we'll get into it in a little bit. So, but I think we should talk a little bit about what we learned. I want you to say it because you've been waiting to say it the whole time. What did we learn, Amanda?
She is actually the chalice. She's like the
Yes.
the main event for the chalice, hence why everything was vibrating. They did get activated because she was in the room and he went in such detail on how like she is such an important part because she kept asking why me. And I don't know that story he said was just I don't know. I fall in love with characters. I get attached to them. So when he said, You're going to forget everything I said, anyways, I'm not going to lie. My heart broke. I did shed a tear. I was like, This is really sad because he really has nobody to talk to except her. I don't feel like she's going to forget anything, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, Daisy's the chalice. And so going back to like all of the times where I was like dropping little hints to you, like I was like, oh, I mean, why is she so important to him? Because like he just dragged her along. He was like, you're coming with me. Like, and it's because the entire time he needed Daisy. Daisy was the chalice. She was the crystal chalice. And the way I interpret it, and you can tell me if you interpret it the same way, I feel like the crystal chalice is like the main chalice of like all the chalices. Does that make sense? Because they have for example, the obsidian throne, they have their own crystal chalice. And so the way I see it is just that she's like kind of the important one. Now she enhances him. The other thing we learn about Tarian is that he is a prince of the obsidian kingdom, kind of, in a way.
I
Like
thought he
he
was
he
one of the celestials because she's all like, "You don't even
he
have
is.
wings," and he's like, "They're banned." I
He
didn't know
is.
he was part of the Obsidian.
So he is a prince of the Obsidian Kingdom, but he's not. How did he word it? He wasn't given to it by birth. So he is sort of kind of a puppet to the Obsidian Kingdom. So he basically has the title of being a prince, but he has no entitlement to the throne. He'll never get it. They kind of look at him as kind of like a joke, but his original heir is from the Diamond Kingdom. He is an actual celestial. So this is where it gets a little confusing and crazy. So I'm hoping I can explain this the way I interpret it and tell me if you thought it the same way. But he started off born into the Diamond Kingdom. We don't know exactly what it was, but his birth basically stirred the gods. He explained himself as like an experiment that was gone badly. He didn't do anything, but he was basically born. So we don't know what it is, but basically his parents did something that created Tarian. Obviously, he calls it an experiment. Daisy kind of figures maybe it was like he was born out of wedlock. We don't know what it was, but we do know that it created like this rift in the royal family. So he kind of his birth caused a fracture. So when we go back to talk about in the earlier chapters how you and I were talking about the Obsidian Kingdom being there was like political issues going on in the Obsidian Kingdom. That's why a lot of the Celestials weren't at the fringe, right? Because people can't agree on things. It makes me wonder if this has to do with Tarian originally, because Tarian somehow fractured. So maybe Tarian's birth or whatever was going on with Tarian is what caused this fracture and this political warfare to go on in the Diamond Kingdom. I don't know. I haven't read book 2 yet. You and I are on the same page now. So I
Well,
don't
I
know.
took it like all of this is his fault because he was born so powerful, and he was saying that like they were scared that he would eventually like rebel and take over and everything, which he did say that wasn't even in his mind, but just for precautions. And then the gods found out like, oh, they could play a game with him. And I forgot the goddess that who struck a deal with him.
Aquelles or something, or equally. Yeah. Aquelles, I
Yeah.
think.
So I thought that was really interesting too. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's just it's gonna be a very interesting book too, because I
Hmm.
feel like I have so many theories, and you probably too, and watch it be like none of the things that we're thinking of. It's a plot twist. Because in my head, I was like, she said it's only 2 books. Watch it be like one of these things where they get the missions done and then they all die. Like,
Let's hope not.
but there's no more need for them. She saved the human realm. She saved the fairy realm. They both have to die. He even said, "Well, we both have to die." It's just that's our thing. So I was like, what if this is the book where she's actually like, yeah, no, they both have to die, like emotional
Hmm.
damage type thing. I don't know if I'll recoup from that. So we might have
Hmm.
issues later down the line. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, because we know that Tarian was sent out by the Obsidian Kingdom to look for their crystal chalice, but we knew Tarian had other plans. Tarian's like, yeah, I'll totally go out and look for your crystal chalice, but really he was out there looking for his own specific crystal chalice, which was not a rock. It wasn't a cup. It was none of the things that you would probably think it would be. It obviously ended up being Daisy. And Daisy, that rock that you and I were looking at a few episodes back, where I showed you guys the AI picture of it, that was just her amplifier. So when she holds that, it amplifies everything. So when Tarian was telling her that you're stamped with like almost like the scent of the crystal chalice, it's because she is the crystal chalice. So she activated it. And now anybody who's around her would be able to sense that she has this power. And she has to be careful because people are going to try to use her to their advantage and they may not know how to. And it might end up destroying her in the meantime without even being able to use her power. So, I mean, Daisy learned a lot about herself and it's kind of frightening if you think about it.
Right? I wouldn't want she even said I could have done without the last bit. I didn't need to know that. Great, now I'm stuck with you. But I don't know. There's such
Yeah.
a great team. This is gonna be great. I can't wait for the next book. And I loved their love scene that they had going on. I love that they were looking out the window together and he just pulled her closer. I loved everything about it. I love that the Celestials came in talking to him and he basically put on this like authority voice, but then after that his whole demeanor changed. He wasn't playful anymore. He had so much regret in his eyes. I was just wondering, like, when she asked him, was the love real? It was just, I liked his answer, like, it's ours. They can't take it from us. Like,
Hmm.
it might be a joke to them, like we're supposed to end up killing each other and then we end up falling in love. But to me, I interpret it as he's like, I'll always love you. Like, I don't know.
It's like a way, it's almost like the gods basically were like, huh, how funny would it be if the crystal chalice that he needs, what if we make him like fall in love with her knowing that he has to kill her eventually. And this was kind of goes back to like my theory on why I think he doesn't actually want to carry things further with her, because even in their moment last chapter, she tells him, I don't regret your kiss. Like he's like, trust me, you'll regret this if we go any further. And she's like, no, I won't. Like I want to do this with you. And I think this goes back to the person that he was in love with well before, and knowing that what she went through and the torment she experienced just from being attached to him, I do believe that that really did hurt him inside. And I feel like he probably didn't want to experience that again, especially with someone like Daisy, because he knows he has to experience it with her. He knows that he's going to have to, essentially, she's going to die from this. She's not going to make it because he has to use all that power from her. So even if he's like, trying to fight it, or she says, oh no, don't worry, I'm always going to only care for you, he knows that he's going to lose her eventually. And I think this is almost a selfish thing of him, not in a bad way, but he's basically probably saying, I don't want to experience that grief again of losing someone that I cared about because it took so much out of me the first time that happened. um that's how I interpret it. That's kind of my theory, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I'm excited to find out. I feel like, because he's very set that they both have to die. I honestly feel, I don't know why I feel this way, is that the book might end with them completing the task and they both dying. And who knows, they might reincarnate into another thing. Because he did say, like, once the chalice dies, another one will always be reborn. So
Hmm.
maybe they're both reborn and we got a new universe. So
So you're kind of looking at a Romeo and Juliet thing with reincarnation added into it, right?
maybe, yeah. Well, I feel like they love each other anyway. It seems like she's very protective of him, because even her whole demeanor changed when he said, me, like, we have to die. And she's like, wait, you? Like, you? And he's all like, it's our destiny. Like, we both have to die. So I don't know if he saw
Yeah.
like a glimpse, if that goddess person gave him a glimpse, like, this is your deal. You have to go through with this. And they're both just laying there on the floor, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
even going back to the goddess, like equal, I'm pretty sure she's like equalis or equalies. We're gonna call her equalies just to, at least I will, just to make it easy on me. But we know that Tarian was originally born from the Diamond Throne, right? Which we know is the Celestials. Like I mentioned before, he caused this fracture. They don't go into an explanation on what that fracture was or what he was, but basically we know that his birth created a problem. We know that there was a lot of issues going on in the Celestial, or I guess I should say the Diamond Kingdom. And what happened was is that ended up ultimately sort of creating his death, right? Like this, whatever the issue was, it ended up leading him directly into his ultimate demise. And before that happened, Equalies came to him, and she's basically one of three other goddesses, but she's the most powerful. And she basically said, like, I'm going to use you, you know, and with him basically being like, with my last breath, I just didn't want things to end. So I accepted her offer. But her offer was basically, you need to go out, you need to find the crystal chalice, you need to restore balance to the kingdom of fairy. And he was going to go from the diamond kingdom. Everyone was going to forget him. He was going to basically be like erased from existence. So they say that his father, who was the king, wasn't going to remember who he was. His brother, who basically fought him or was not fighting with him, but like fighting in line with him for the crown, doesn't even remember his betrayal to Tarian. So we don't even know what that betrayal is. So hopefully we get a little glimpse of
So
that into book two,
sad. So
right?
what?
All the people he knows, nobody will remember him. And he's going to basically be born into the Obsidian Kingdom. And the only people who know who he really is are the royals of the Obsidian Kingdom, which is why they kind of use him as a toy. They know that he isn't going to ever inherit the crown, but they use him as that. And so they kind of like play with him a little bit. They mess with him. Yeah, they make him out to being a joke. And then also we know that his 10 fallen know who he is, because his 10 fallen also are celestials that gave up their wings, gave up everything to help follow Tarian and to be there to support and help him. So
But they
ultimately
don't remember.
I think they do remember.
I thought he
That's
said
how
they
I
don't
thought.
remember because he's alone. And he goes, eventually you won't, pretty soon you won't remember either.
I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, but I think the reason his fallen still remember him is because they gave into this deal also. They agreed to it, and that's why they all lost their wings as well.
Mm.
Because they're also wingless. But yeah, so he's kind of in this bad situation, and Achilles tells him, like, you need to go out, you need to get the crystal chalice, restore balance. And then we find out that they kind of add a little bit of extra fun in there, because we know that the gods like to basically, whenever there's a fracture involved in the fairylands, they like to like pin their favorite person against another god's favorite person, right? Like they use
Yeah.
them as games. And it's really sad because Tyrion says, like, we're basically pawns in their game. You know, they
The
created us.
entertainment.
Yeah, they created us as fae in their image, but they use us as pawns and yeah, entertainment. And so they basically almost make it so they're like, well, go check out, go find the crystal chalice, Tarian. But then as an extra spice, we're going to make you fall in love with this crystal chalice and make it harder for you to actually use her to what you need to do. So it's like so sad what we see going on. And we know that Tarian's not feeling any of it. Tarian's goal is like, I will restore balance to my kingdom, because as a celestial and part of the diamond kingdom, his main goal is to protect Fairy. And that's what he's doing. And that's why he accepted the deal with Achilles. And that's why he, as much as he cares for Daisy, he's like, I am going to have to turn into a monster and I am going to have to break you. And I hate to do that. And that's why I think he doesn't want to go any further with her, because he knows ultimately it's going to destroy him to destroy her.
Yeah. It's very sad. Emotional damage.
Yeah.
This end of the book was very emotional. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing was. I don't know, but it leaves me with so many questions. I'm like, okay, so what's going to happen next? Now, I will say I did see like a little, I mean, which anybody who knows about, who reads Diamond Dust knows that basically Daisy's going to end up going to the Obsidian Kingdom, and she's going to be put into these trials that she's going to have to do. And they kind of mention it a little bit in this book, where she's going to have to fight some of the most powerful Fae. And I will say that you were right. I don't know if you remember, in the sense of saying that you think Tyrion was kind of training her, right? Like, you're like, he was putting her through these little trials, and it's probably to see like how well would you fare
Yeah.
against
No, that
Faye.
was exciting too. That was exciting. And I liked how she kind of made her peace with everything too, because she said that she's okay to do this as long as it saves her family. And she thought of Mordecai and everybody else. And it was cute how she's like, let's shake on it. Because that's all she wanted in the end.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll help you, but you have to promise me that my family stays safe too. So I'm very curious
Hmm.
on when she
Yeah.
does go down there, like what that is going to look like and who she fights first. I'm telling you, like, I feel like she's going to remember everything that Tyrion said. I feel like she's going to kick butt and this is going to backfire in the gods' favor. Or we could just choose plan B and everybody just dies. So the
Yeah.
order is going to be restored.
Yeah. Tarian tells her, you will forget all of this that I've told you because you weren't meant to know it. And because you know it, like you're going to hear about it right now, but in a few minutes you're going to forget everything. And it's like, don't forget it because we want you guys to be in love and we want her to love you and care about you. But at least he knows that he got her okay and her approval. So if she does forget everything, he knows ultimately she's okay with being used like this. She knows that she's going to be destroyed in the process because the amount of power that he has to siphon from her is the amount of a goddess. So it is going to destroy her in the end. And then it's going to take him too. So he's like,
But
both
what
of
if
us are going
she's
to
half
go.
goddess? What if she is a half goddess and she
Well, yeah,
survives
that's it.
all of it?
Yeah, because we don't know anything about her birth parents. We don't know if she comes from something specific. We just know in order to be this crystal chalice that she is, there had to be there was criteria for it that had to be met.
What if they were supposed to be mated anyways, which makes then Tyrion one of the most powerful beings on both sides of the realm? And they were like, this can't happen. So then they had to split these two up. And then all of a sudden, it's like, you're going to lose everything because we could already see what's going to happen. And we're going to make your life as difficult and miserable as possible. Also finding this. And then that goddess lady kind of messed it up by making that deal with him, because now she brought
Yeah.
those two together. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that one. I like that theory.
Theory too. I mean, we can go with that theory into book 2 and kind of see what we get from it, right?
Okay,
You
let's
know?
do that.
But we do know the criteria is it's a non-magical person, right? Which we know Daisy is a non-magical person. We know that her natural skills needed to be enhanced, which Zorn sort of helped kind of create her into this incredible fighter as what a Fae would be, because she was trained by Zorn, who was a Fae, technically. And then on top of that, also she was given blood magic willingly by a goddess, because we know they have to be enhanced by a goddess. And so it's like, all these criteria is met, which created and basically kind of ultimately brought the prophecy up, right? Like whatever was supposed to happen was going to happen. But he tells her, did you hear when he said like, not all crystal chalices are put in this situation? And she's like, so I just have really incredibly bad luck. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, which makes it seem like she has to be, I don't know, there's something more to her. Like she doesn't have to like some characters they're like you're so special but you're not actively born with that. So maybe she is a goddess but wasn't born or something was suppressing her powers anyway. So when Lexi did help her out and gave her blood magic, everything, it kind of like siphoned it. And then plus her being around all these amplifier things, it just like awakened something in her without her realizing it too. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm like really like I have so much through my brain right now. I don't know how to get it out of my mouth because it's just la, 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 la.
Well, because there's so many things that happen. That's why I told you when we were reading it, I'm like, the last chapter is going to have so much information in there. Like, and you and I aren't really going to be able to break it because I feel like there was so much, unless we're specifically sitting here reading it to each other and breaking it down as we read it. There's so much information to process that it's like, wait a minute, what is this? Because also, one thing we haven't talked about yet is the wields, how she was able to have this connection with the wields, which we know that voice that she was always hearing that warned her about the dark rend both times, the first time and the time that she was in the hut before she went and
Yeah.
they went underground, all stemmed from the wields. So she has this connection, and Tarian's thought process is because the wields know that she is going to be used to strengthen the fringe, because
And to
Tarian's
restore
like,
the balance.
yeah,
They
and
know that
so
she'll be
it's
the one.
right. It wants to help her. Unlike the Dark Rend, who saw, oh no, like he was almost the guard who was like, no, no, you can't help them. So, because they do mention also that the Dark Rend was twisted, I think was the word that they use. And so it's like, it made me think, like, who did that? who twisted the dark Ren, because the dark Ren had almost like extra powers. Because remember when Tarian was talking to
The
the
Celestials. He's
Celestials?
all like, "You guys aren't
Yeah,
doing your job or something." I was like, "Yeah, you tell him."
yeah. And even the fact that the dark Ren was able to break through Tarian's wards, like not break through completely, but it was like it was like fighting against it. And he's like, normally the dark Ren wouldn't be able to do any of this. Like he would sit there trying to smash us with his foot and just get a sore foot out of it. So
Yeah.
this dark Ren was almost like twisted and made to be a little bit stronger than its original natural state. And then Tarian had to use Daisy as the crystal chalice, holding her amplifier, one of her amplifiers, to basically create a stronger wield. So it's like, who did that? Who messed with the dark Ren? That's what I want to know. Like, you know, there's a villain out there. We just don't know who the villain is yet.
It just wanted Daisy though too, so maybe he just got reactivated because now you have the chalice coming through and it's not supposed to cross that phase. So he's like on the hunt and kind of lost his marbles. Because he even said like his men
Yeah.
were staring at the window, but it wanted nothing to do with anybody who was staring out the window or being nosy. It just wanted, and it knew exactly where Daisy was.
Hmm.
So it could have
Yeah.
been because she's the chalice that wasn't supposed to be in this realm, which makes it
If it's
even more exciting.
Yeah, which you would think, okay, so maybe it's like a guard dog, right? But who hired this guard dog? Who put the guard dog out there and amplified it to make sure that this crystal chalice doesn't cross? Because the celestials, you would think, oh, it had to be the celestials, right? But the celestials ended up fighting against him and
It's the
taking it
mean
down.
queen. I bet you it's the Obsidian Court. They're all
Yeah.
like, "Okay, if this guy comes back with something, it better be ours, because if not, I
Yeah.
need you to take it out."
I agree. It very well could be, because the Obsidian Kingdom was ultimately sending him out to find their crystal chalice. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll totally go find your crystal chalice. But yet, really, he's finding the diamond throne crystal chalice, because that is what is going to amplify for him. And that's what
Yeah.
he needs to be able to free himself from the Obsidian Kingdom. However, I'm wondering, when he says free himself of the Obsidian Kingdom, I think that's him just basically being like, I've done my job, I've saved the kingdom, and now it's my time to be done. Like that's his only way of being free.
Where they
I
both
know.
die. I know.
Like, don't do that to us, Tarian. No.
What if she only kills him off? Oh my gosh, this is intense.
Well, I love that Daisy still said, and they've said this back and forth to each other the whole time, is she's like, I'm willing to help you, but I just want you to know that I'm still going to be the one to kill you in the end. And he's like, I would expect nothing less. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because she's like, I still have a grudge to, or I still am holding a grudge against you. But it's just the whole thing. I mean, her connection with the Wields, the fact that she was like, the crystal chalice, because we know there can only be one crystal chalice at a time, and it's just a continuous circle. And remember how earlier Tarian said the only person who can destroy the crystal chalice is the gods themselves,
Yeah,
right? And
I
so it
do.
goes back
Yeah.
to, so is Daisy the only way Daisy can be destroyed? Is it by the gods themselves? Like that's things that are coming into my mind that I'm like, because Daisy's like, oh, well, I'll just, I'll take myself out if that means that, nobody can use me. And it's like, but can you? You know, I mean, she is the crystal chalice. We know the crystal chalice is a walking organic person, that just happens to qualify for all the things that happened. I don't know.
So much. I want to know more so bad. No. Um, that would be fun. I feel like she would be able to take herself out because like what happens if she just like jumped off the bridge? Like, is she just gonna meditate back up? Is she not gonna hurt? She's just gonna land on her feet and be like, gosh darn it, that didn't work. Let's try something
I don't
else. Like
know.
she's like the Hulk. He cannot get rid of himself. So I feel
Yeah,
like I feel like she might be able to take herself out if she really wanted to, but man, I don't know. I just have this weird feeling that she is something more. And it could just be the chalice thing, but I feel like
yeah.
because of Lexi maybe that she has something more or I don't know. I don't know. I hate
Hmm.
you for making me read this book though. Honestly.
Hey, it was on your to be read list. I just
It
bumped it up for you
was
on the
it
list.
was on my oh.
Now,
It's like
do you do you also know, like, he did mention, and I don't know anything about this, and I'm curious myself, is he says that there were that he was trapped by the 5 obsidian seals. Um, and earlier when he was
Is
talking
that
to
on
the
his tattoos?
celestials,
Are those his tattoos?
hmm,
Like they bind him
I don't
in some
know.
way?
Because he does, well, he has the 10 rings. So do you think each kingdom maybe has 5 seals? So maybe he has 5 for the obsidian and 5 for the diamond. I have no idea. I mean, that's just something
Oh,
I'm just throwing that out there. I have
maybe
no idea. But we do know he had the obsidian.
on
Remember,
his
he had that on
shoulder.
his shoulder. So do you think
Yeah,
that might be something that's trapping him, whatever he had
maybe.
on him?
Yeah, because it was kind of like a 3D type thing, like it was poking out of him. Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we know that the 5 obsidian seals have tempered his magic so that he couldn't rebel. He was forced into the rules. It was basically this curse on him. And I'm like, well, what are the 5 seals? Are those 5 people who rule in the Obsidian Kingdom? Like, I'm just like so curious on what this means because he does tell the Celestials when he's talking to them. And I'm just going off my like what I remember. It's not word for word, but something like how he's like, my name is, and he tells his full name and he says, I am, this person because of the 5 seals. I'm like, so what are these 5 seals and what do they have to do? That I'm really
Is
excited
it
for
his
book
tattoos
two.
though? Because you do have one of the 10 rings. You have one of the necklace. You have one on his back, the sword on his back, and then you have that thing popping out of his shoulder, which doesn't look like a tattoo, but I feel like it is just poking out of him. And doesn't he have the sword, same sword on his back, just smaller? Close?
I
Maybe
don't
not. That's
know.
that's never
I
mind.
don't know. See,
You don't have
there's so many
a
things.
frown.
I'm like, what is that? No, but like the thing that he has on his shoulder, I feel like it's an actual, what's the word?
Like a thing put inside
Like,
of him that tried to get out.
yeah, like an
Like a
organic
seal.
material, like an
Yeah.
obsidian or material that's basically in his skin.
Marking
And I feel
him.
like, yeah, because he did say also that the obsidian kingdom has dampened his powers so that he can't rebel and fight against them. So it's like, almost like how he and the other thing, this is random, I know, but remember Daisy mentions the glamour that he can put over. Do you think
Yeah.
maybe that's how he was erased? Like, is some form of a glamour, not to just the looks, but they glamored him essentially so that nobody remembers him. I mean, these are all just
I think
theories that were
so.
thrown out.
Because he even said, like, when she was asking, like, you're a celestial and everything, and didn't he say, like, he's glamored to not look like that? So maybe he is glamored to look like a completely different person, and when this is all taken off of him, if it ever is, um, he could just be like this totally 360 type dude that looks
Yeah,
nothing like how he is now, and we're all gonna be gawking over him.
like we aren't
Like,
already. No, just kidding.
"Ooh, hey." Yeah, with
Well,
that
Daisy
piercing
says,
down below.
oh, the piercing. I think I told you when I first read it, I was like, Amanda, he has a piercing downstairs. And you're like, what? I'm like, yeah.
That's so old school.
I was like, what? Um, but yeah, so it could be because he doesn't have wings. He says that wings symbolize freedom and he doesn't have freedom. So
I'm
we
so
have a lot
sad.
of questions going into this next book. Who are his parents? I'm really hoping we get a little bit of an insight into his parents. I would really like to know, what is the fracture that his birth caused? Was it an affair? Was it just the fact that he was stronger so he could have taken over his father's throne?
I feel like it's that one.
It could be. We have no idea. We just know that something caused a severe fracture in the Diamond Kingdom, which I think caused this political rupture to happen, which in turn caused Tarian to basically be sent to, be done. Like, they basically were like, well, you're going to die now because of this fracture that you've caused. And then Achilles came out and saved him and said, nope, this is not your plan. Your plan is going to be what I tell you to do. So then she binds him into this new contract, right? Because we know that these bonds that they develop, like, it's the same thing that he had where if Daisy kissed somebody, he was ultimately obliged to have to take out whoever kisses her. Like, they're forced into these bonds, and he mentions that he was forced into these things. He's a toy for the Obsidian Kingdom. So I'm also wondering, do you think that Achilles and the Obsidian Kingdom are somehow working together in a way, but then they can't be, because Achilles wants him to find the crystal chalice and essentially bring order back to fairy, and I feel like the Obsidian Kingdom doesn't want any of that. So it's like, how do these two come together? Because both of them know that Tarian was part of the Diamond Kingdom. I don't know. There's so many questions. It's now I have a headache. Now I have a
My
headache.
gosh, I thought too much about this, guys. Hold on.
I know.
Just for your
So
guys' reference, I guarantee you she has a headache because she hasn't drank water all week.
from all the moving, not just the moving, but the moving and the unpacking after, which, yeah, I'm surprised that we've even been able to maintain our podcast. It's like, okay, everybody stop. I have to go record a podcast. Leave the boxes where they are. Like,
I
it's,
know. Poor Carla.
yeah.
Oh, she knows how
But
my life is every 3 years.
I know military life for Amanda. So,
Welcome to
um,
PCS season where we move and read books while we watch people do our stuff.
exactly. Um, but yeah, we know that this book series is a 2-book series. So we read Obsidian, and next we're going to read Diamond Dust, which is book 2, and it's supposed to be just these 2 books. So we should hopefully get everything answered in these 2 books. What do you think, Amanda?
I feel like because it seems like it is a universe thing with all her books that are coming out. I feel like we're gonna have small hints of stuff. Like she did say, I don't know if it said it on your Kindle or anything, but if you wanted to know what happened or something where it seemed like it might tie in exactly what happened, maybe just a small glimpse in the chocolate one of his, like what happened with his parents. So I feel like if it doesn't answer all of this in the next book, then we're literally going to have to go through and read the entire universe and then watch it be like
Mm-hmm.
all these small Easter eggs where we're like, oh, that makes so much sense now. Look at this, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't know anything about the demigods of San Francisco, but I do know that it had to do with and spoilers, if anyone, I don't know if it's really a spoiler because I've never read it, but have to do with like Kyrian and him take with his father, who was like I think he was like a ruthless king or something. So Kyrian, it had something to do with that. Now, will we get a glimpse of Tarian and his family in that book? I have no idea, because I kind of just figured Tarian was like this brand new character that came into this series. I don't know if he was mentioned in the other series, but I know Daisy was. So
Hmm.
maybe it's something we have to check out and get to know, but I guess we'll have to find out. So I'm so glad you liked the book. I'm so excited that you finally read it.
Yes, that was so good. We're gonna have to probably read the second one and then maybe later down the line do a podcast on it just to see if any of our theories were correct or not. And then see how the rest of this universe goes because I am very curious now on everything, honestly.
Yeah.
With Lexi, I want to know more about Lexi and Mordecai and Kyrian and
Hmm.
yeah, I think it would be fun, but we already
Yeah. That's
have
where
a
we
bunch of books lined up for our podcast, which is so crazy and exciting because I feel like I don't know, I feel very honored that all these authors are asking us to read their books. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, it's just I don't know, I feel very special. So
Yeah. I know that means that we're going to have to go and read The Demigods of San Francisco to get like a little bit of a background on some of those other characters. I want to read it. I'm excited. I love KF Breen's books. Like, I feel like she's an incredible writer. And so I'm really excited to dive more into her other books and finish this specific series. That's going to be my first thing, is I have to finish this series first because I need to know what happens, and then I'll read the other ones. But yeah, so in case anybody doesn't know what Amanda's talking about, is we started doing Indie Author Wednesdays, where we highlight different indie authors every Wednesday. We're doing like two at a time, and we have had an incredible, overwhelming amount of authors reach out to us, because we do strongly believe that, you know, every author has to start from somewhere. So all of, you know, even the most popular authors of famous books you've read all had to start somewhere. And so we know there's a lot of hidden gems out there of people who've written these incredible books, and we want to be able to help find them and help push them out where we can, and just, you know, spread some of that love. So yeah, it's been very overwhelming, and we're super thankful for everybody who has reached out to us and wanted to share their books, which, guess what, that means we have a lot of books lined up for podcasts, don't we?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so our next book, though, is with one of our friends who follow us. She asked if we could read The Princess Companion. So I'm not gonna lie, I am probably 95% gonna dress up as a princess for each of these podcasts. My husband's like, "Where are you gonna get the dresses from?" I'm like, "I don't know. Can't you rent a dress or something?" I feel like you can. I just
Should we
want to be
make
a
that a thing?
princess. I feel like we should. I feel like we should. I just want to dress up. I don't know. I
Just come
feel
as
like
a princess?
yeah. Well, a lot of these, actually, I'm not going to lie, for this book, the diamond or the obsidian book, I wanted to wear my D&D cosplay where I have elf ears and I have like all this fun stuff, but you know, I'm kind of shy. So, I feel like with this princess, if I do dress up as a princess, then each episode I might just dress up as a different character. So, I feel like we both should do that. It would be a lot of fun, and yeah.
Well, I think it would be weird if you were the only one to dress up as a princess and I'm over here in my normal PJs. Like,
Don't you want to dress up like a princess? Okay, so
yeah.
the princess companion, the cover is her in a really pretty green dress. So if we could find a green dress, just know. And I want like that corset thing that makes your hips go like way out here. Do you know what I'm talking about? What's it called? So you have like a poofy thing,
Yeah.
and then where you just like struggle to sit down and everything. But yeah, no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, guys. You have to start
Yeah.
watching it live. Like not live, but
Yeah.
whatever. What's it
We
called?
Oh
YouTube.
yeah, you have to check us out on YouTube if you want to see our cute dresses. But yeah, we're gonna have to plan that out. I'm excited. We are reading that. Shout out to Aurora who wanted us to do it, and she's been incredible. We're like, we totally have to read her book suggestions. So anybody else who has any book suggestions that you want us to read, please let us know. Shoot us an email, or send us an email, or send us a DM on social media, whatever it is. But we would love to hear some suggestions from you. We do have quite a bit of books lined up already, but we are super ready, along with one of those books being, and I'm going to mention it because we already did a podcast on this, but we have The Wolf Throne 2, which is The Snow Wolf Queen. We are super
I'm so
excited. We are going to
excited.
be Yeah, we are going to be breaking down that book. You guys loved when we covered that book. We had tons of people listening, and you know, we were really thankful and happy. So we thought, well, let's do book two. So we will be doing book two, and yeah, you'll have to stay tuned for that. But
Yeah.
I
And we're
don't
doing
know.
our giveaway book with the Dead
Yeah,
Queen. And then we have the second Wolf Throne. And then we have the Ashes of Air and Fire. And I think we have one more lined up. So
yeah. We have a lot coming to you guys. I mean, when I tell you that Amanda and I have been busy, we have been busy. Like, it's been crazy. It's overwhelming between moving and running the podcast and reading the books and going to book conventions and going to doing giveaways and talking to indie authors and promoting indie authors. And not just that, but then our regular jobs just that we have to do, and being a parent on top of that. Both of us are
and a
moms, so
wife.
it's
We're both wives too. My husband's
yes.
like, I'm getting neglected over here. No, I'm just kidding. He does not get neglected. He,
My
he is the
my
farthest
husband
thing.
my husband is sick of hearing me talk about books with people when I go out. They'll be like, "Oh," and they'll tell me, they're like, your podcast, oh, that's so good. Check this book out." And my husband's just like, "Yeah, okay." And they look at him and they're like, "Do you read the books too?" And he's like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, no,
He's
I don't even know what she's."
probably
He's like, "I don't know what she's talking about
traumatized.
half the time." Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I remember being little, everywhere we go, it was all like, "Oh, I know your grandpa," or, "Oh, I know your dad," and stuff, so he's probably like, "Great, now every time I go outside, it's like, oh, I know your wife." He's like, "Do you know my wife? Have you read the books?" Poor
Yeah,
guy.
no, he's like, I don't even care. Just he just does his thing.
But they're both very supportive, so we do have
Extremely
very
supportive.
supportive husbands, yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, can you believe that was it for Obsidian? Oh my gosh. So we are new to the podcast. We got the fourth wing down, we got Obsidian down, and now we're moving on to the next.
I know.
Oh,
I can't wait. So, if you guys want to dress up as princesses with us, feel free to do so. Maybe even take a picture of yourself in a princess dress and tag us to your story while you're
love
listening,
it.
reading, whatever it is with our podcast. We would absolutely love it. We will totally share it. That would be so much fun. So yeah, I guess is there anything else that we need to talk about, like in Obsidian, that we haven't talked about yet, or do we
No,
pretty
but
much
we love
cover?
you guys. We did good. We
We do.
absolutely love you guys. We do.
Yeah, we do. And if you haven't already, which hopefully at this point you have, but if you haven't, be sure to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the good stuff. We are also on YouTube. So if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, make sure you head over to YouTube, subscribe, check out, hang out with us. Right? If we end up actually wearing
Who
princess
doesn't want
dresses,
to
that's
see our
where
beautiful faces?
yeah, that's where you're going to see it. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to check us out on Spotify and Apple. We would just love if you guys could leave us a review. It really helps push this podcast out. Make sure that you hit the like button. That really helps with the algorithm, get us pushed out even further. We've been super thankful for all of you who have been supporting us and been so kind and sweet to us. We have heard all you guys, and we're just so thankful that you guys want to be a part of this with us, because this literally just started off as Amanda and I having book conversations, and we're like, we should just do this on a podcast and have like a book club with people. So the fact that we have been able to actually turn that into something has been incredible. So we are very thankful for all of you listening. But yeah, other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. Unless you have anything else to say, I guess we'll see you guys on the next chapter in the next book series.